Hello, everybody. Let's get this thing off my chest. Like I've wanted to talk about this for a while. I don't know how to talk about it all that well, other than like just coming from just straight up. I I wanted to script this. I have like a few little note guidelines here, so we're just gonna get right into it. Staten Island fucking sucks. New York City fucking sucks. Oh, it's such a beautiful place. Everyone's an asshole, but in a good way. Go fuck yourself means have a nice day. Fuck you means hello. All that. The people here, they look like they're assholes, but they're really not. That's just how it is. That's just how we are in New York. Bunch of angry Italians, Irish. It doesn't matter. White, black. Who the fuck cares? But living in Staten Island specifically sucks. We're the forgotten borough for a reason. There's nothing here for anybody. Yeah, if you want to work small time jobs, you can do that. Which, honestly, I mean, nowadays in New York, it's not viable. I'll get into that in a little bit. But, like, there's literally nothing here. We have schools, yeah. We have 2, 3 colleges, pretty good ones. Not the best, not top notch, but, 2 year schools, 4 year schools, pretty good. College of Staten Island had a good amount of notable faces, a few celebrities got in there. But it's like, all that Staten Island is really used for and known for nowadays is either drugs, mainly heroin, mainly other opiates, and also television. Which I mean, I guess if you want to get into showbiz, Staten Island's the place you want to be if you want to do that early. But it's like everything else. We don't have a trade school. Like, why of all places Staten Island? Apparently, Staten Island is bigger than New York in a way. I don't know how true that is, but it's definitely not as popular as New York City. But the problem is like I said, we don't have a fucking trade school here. If we want a trade school, we got to go all the way, and I mean all the way to New York City. And that's not a cheap adventure, especially for a student. Not at all. The ferry is free, yeah. So if you live in the North Shore, you're set. Immediately just jump on a ferry, have a good fucking day. Living on the North Shore it's not the best of places. It's dangerous. It's basically the low income area, depending on where you go. But the funny thing is, everything is up there. The ferry, the all the health insurance, all the car insurance, and just the best hospital on the island is up there. But you come down to the South Shore, there's nothing. We have an understaffed joke of a fucking hospital. I appreciate their work they do over there, but oh my god, just to get my nuts checked out because I had a spider bite on them from when I was asleep and it was horribly infected. Yeah, we're talking about this. I had to sit there for 3 hours waiting, and then just to be told, oh, I have to be transferred to the North Shore. I think it's called Seaview, something like that. And it's like, oh, well, that's gonna be fun. So now you want to charge me for an ambulance ride, and now I gotta go all the way to North Shore. Okay. So moving on from that, just anywhere else, like all we have down here is bars, haircuts, just small business. That's all we have in Staten Island. We have a few big businesses, but no major corporations. So, I mean, aside from like providers like AT&T and all that crap, we have an Amazon warehouse too. But apparently, the Amazon warehouse here is specifically really bad. So if you want to work in a sweatshop, go work over there. But so we're gonna round back to the whole trade school thing. Why on earth would you not have a trade school in the center of Staten Island? I remember when I was in high school, we did go to a trade school that was in progress of being built and established here. But there's been no word on that, and it was only going to be carpentry for a time. So wouldn't have welding, we wouldn't have plumbing, we wouldn't have electrician, we wouldn't have anything, just carpentry. Just if we want to do anything, like I said, we have to go to New York City. And not only that, like the biggest problem with like going the commute it sucks, but if it wasn't expensive, it'd be perfectly fine. No issues. Spend $1.50 on spend $5 maybe just to get over there every couple of days. But it's not like that. I mean, if you live in North Shore, yeah, it's completely free. You can really just walk to the fucking the ferry. Bam, it's free ride to the city. Not down in the South Shore, but I'm repeating myself over and over and over again. That's how pissed I am about a lot of things. But now you got the fact that if you don't want to go that route and you want to just drive there, you got to pay tolls. Now, I understand travel for anything. You have to pay tolls just to get in and out of cities or over bridges. But a lot of the time, it's not that expensive. Like, just to get from Jersey to Pennsylvania, it's $1. $1 in tolls. In in New York, let me see if I have it in my notes. Not in New York, in Staten Island. Just to get off this fucking island, it is okay. Staten Island residents with an Easy Pass have to pay $2.75 in each direction instead of $5.50 during one-way tolling. But that's only if you get an Easy Pass. Literally only if you get an Easy Pass. Otherwise, you're paying full price. I think. Well, I think maybe a bit like a little bit more, a little bit less. Not sure. But then toll by mail, it goes from $19 with one-way tolling to $9.50 under split unless you want to split it. If you want to get on a train, it's $2.75 going or leaving, but that's only at the very last stop at the ferry. So, like I said, South Shore. If you want to go to the ferry, you gotta pay. And like I said, I understand everything. Just to make money, you gotta spend money, but you don't have to bleed money. I don't understand that. It's like living as a Staten Island resident, you have to bleed money to make anything. And just let's say, yeah. So yeah, all major facilities, like I said, all on the North Shore: insurance, court, ferry, medical. I already went over the South Shore Hospital. There's little space. There's no space. There's no space for anything here, and they want to keep putting down buildings, schools. They want to keep putting everything just nonsense. Oh, and affordable housing. Speaking of housing, the housing market is terrible. It is entirely unaffordable here. People bitch and complain. Oh, kids nowadays, they're not getting out of my house. They're still 30 and they live in my basement. Are they paying rent? Yeah. Okay, they're paying rent. And you know what's the problem is? They're paying rent on top of the browsing housing market. So you're taking $50 a week from them, $500 a year, depending. I don't care. I understand everyone has to pay rent, especially with family. Like, there comes a point where you don't get the free pass anymore. I luckily still have that free pass, but I'm paying it off in different ways. But basically, when you go for housing in New York, for the house I live in right now, it is a townhouse, an end unit. It's $200,000, and other houses here, $400,000, and it's not even a big property. It's 3 bedrooms. Yeah, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a living room, and a kitchen for $200,000 fucking dollars. That's Staten Island housing. That is New York housing. Rent is probably in other places is probably like $1,000 a month if you live in apartments in Staten Island. I don't know, $750. But I check anywhere else, $80,000 for a whole ass house. I check Texas, $42,000 for a whole house, property and everything. It's like I understand cost of living, but the problem is New York's problem isn't a cost of living. It is a problem of nothing but a destroyed economic system down here. It is terrible. Thank you, Cuomo. Thank you to every Democratic asshole that has held the office of mayor. They have destroyed everything. Wall Street has destroyed so much here. And minimum wage does not at all accommodate for it. And the problem is, minimum wage shouldn't have to accommodate for this broken fucking housing system. Because what you know what happens when you increase the minimum wage? Everything else goes up. Housing will go up. So it'll go up even fucking more. Food will go up. Anything. Insurance, it's ridiculous. Gas. Oh, and that's another fucking problem in Staten Island. Gas. Gas is the major problem in Staten Island. So that's why I'll always say when it comes to politics, Staten Island is one of the most heavily affected areas because of gas alone. Because of Donald, he with what he did with gas became the most affordable. It wasn't that painful to go to work every day now because it's $3 or something a gallon, $2 a gallon, but now it's going up. Biden got rid of the Keystone Pipeline and now it's gonna soar. Before that, with Obama, it was $5 a gallon, $6 a gallon. I think it peaked at almost $7 a gallon at one point. I don't remember. I was young at the time. I was still in elementary school. No, I was just getting into middle school basically. So then on top of that, like I said, this is when the tolls come into play, and this is when the whole thing of bleeding money comes into play just to work. In order to work in Staten Island, if you want to hold a career, like a city job, some are exempt, like the Postal Service. Postal Service isn't bad, the only problem with that is you got to take a test. You got to go all the way to New York City or something. But it's like just to work here for the city, you have to travel. And I don't mean travel an hour away. I don't mean travel, down the block. I don't mean travel to a town over, which wouldn't be that long in other places. No, we got to cross bridges here. we gotta pay these tolls daily. Some companies will pay these tolls for you. I get it, but the average person, from when I'm talking to them, they're not doing that. They're not getting the benefits of being having their tolls paid for them. They get the health insurance and all that, but they're not getting the tolls paid for them. So they're paying constantly every single day to get to work. That builds up. That builds up. That builds up on top of gas, and it's like, what do you do at that point? You like most of your hours at that point are going to paying for your ability just to work, and then you look at your bank by the end of the year when you should be making, saying, the average, I guess, around here is like 63,000, 59,000, something like that. You're putting like 20,000 just over and over, just getting out, just paying for gas, just leaving the fucking island, because you got to go to the Bronx, you got to go to freaking road, you got to go everywhere, you got to go to all five boroughs, even New York City. And the worst part is, just to take tests, you got to go to these places. It's like you can't take the test in here. Like I said, Staten Island does nothing to accommodate for its people. And if you move anywhere else, I've had this happen to me. I didn't move, but I talked about like applying somewhere if I was to go there. Like what was it? I think I went to Jersey and I was talking to someone from Petco, and they were like, Staten Island, and then they looked at me like I was some kind of Mexican illegal immigrant, and it's like, oh, and it's like you talk to most people on about Staten Islanders, and they'll tell you it's like, yeah, they leave that place, just they go anywhere else because down there it's terrible. I know several people already that have moved just because they had the ability to, because a parent died and they got inheritance, so they took that money and got the fuck out. Like, I'm only 22. There's no way someone my age nowadays worked for a year and was able just to go. It doesn't work like that down here in New York. Anyone can tell you. And it's just so annoying over and over and over and over that the last generation, the generation before that, the past two, Gen Z or whatever, and I don't fucking know. Basically they're going like, oh, you guys got to go get a job. You guys got to go do this. Yeah, I would love to fucking work, but the problem is there is no way to work without having to fucking break your back here. It's one thing. It's like when I say break your back, I mean just to establish the whole thing, like as in just getting to work. It's agony. It's not. It's not the. I understand some people are like, oh, I gotta wake up 6 o'clock and go to work. No, no, no. If you want to work in Staten Island, you gotta wake up by 3 o'clock and get on the fucking highway because you decided you want to work sanitation or something, or you wanted to work MTA, but you get stationed in the fucking Bronx. It's like, why can't you just not work locally? Why? Why can I not just work on an island? I'll work on the other side of the island. I'll work on the South Shore. I'll work on the Central. Why do I gotta go to the fucking Bronx just to make like barely, like just a little bit above minimum wage, so, like $27 I'm seeing or whatever. But like I said, Postal don't got that issue, so I'm considering Postal. I'm just venting at this point though. The problem is Staten Island just fucking sucks. If anyone says move to New York, you tell them no. If anyone says move to Staten Island, you tell them fuck no. I don't want to get a fucking heroin needle in my foot because I decided to walk barefoot around my own house. Because, like I said, the heroin, the druggies, everything, they make everything 10 times worse here. And not only that, our leaders are fucking stupid. That's all I have to say. That's my rant. I know it's a lot, but Jesus Christ. I know I sound like a freaking loony millennial, whatever, despite being born in 1998. Well, is that a millennial? I don't fucking know. But I know I sound like a lazy kid, essentially, that doesn't want to work. No, trust me, I want to work. I want to go to fucking trade school, but I don't want to travel to New York fucking City. That's a 2-hour commute if I'm lucky. Fuck New York. End of story. Don't move to New York. Move somewhere else. And not only that, it's a democratic city. It's turning into a shithole. It was so much better underneath Rudy Giuliani, and I wish I was alive for that.